Welcome back to Brands Hatch. We are here for the F3 Cup. Just dipping down the field as Tristan Cliff leads the way to a super scrap between Nick Robinson and Jacopo Sebastiani. Jacopo making his F3 Cup debut, having previously appeared here at Ferrari F40 a couple of years ago. And this is how Robinson got in front of Sebastiani. Same point on the circuit a couple of laps ago. Started the move at Druids, completed it into Graham Hill Bend. Jacopo looking to fight back. It's a circuit that he enjoys racing on very much. A late entry with the Omicron team, which also runs Tristan Cliff. Robinson punching the hole through the air down into Hawthorne. Sebastiani closing up a little bit on brakes. So you can see the Omicron team have got the setup of the car just absolutely spot on, giving the drivers so much confidence on the brakes. Sebastiani fights with Robinson. Here is our race leader, then his teammate Tristan Cliff. And Cliff trying to break away from Toby Sowry. Brands Hatch Grand Prix circuit, somewhere that Tristan Cliff always goes well. There's around Druids, Sowry trying to close up. As the pair of them head down into the left-hander at Graham Hill Bend. Now can Cliff break away from Sowry? Sowry got enough at the very least to stay in Cliff's toe through to the end of the race. Cliff in the slightly newer car, he's rocking the 2007 Dallara versus the 2005 example in the hands of Toby Sowry. Meanwhile, Sebastiani and Robinson continue their battle. Jacopo Sebastiani only a car length or so back from Nick Robinson. He's probably close enough to have a little bit of a nibble into Druids if he can have a good run through Paddock Hill Bend here. Jacopo Sebastiani, so this is earlier on, former racer in the GT Trophy. Turns through Druids, takes a slightly tighter apex than he maybe would have wanted. He flicks the car sideways, as a result loses some momentum. Heads around the apex at Graham Hill Bend, and off in pursuit of F3 Cup stalwart Nick Robinson. Nick, I should hastily add, is not the well-known political journalist. He's the other Nick Robinson, who is far better known for his talent behind the wheel on an F3 car. As we go back on board with our race leader Tristan Cliff through Clark Curve. Clearway's become such a daunting corner on the Grand Prix circuit. You arrive at it at really high speed, and it's caught out the very best of them, because of course Lewis Hamilton on his British Formula 3 debut ended up in hospital after an accident at Clearways when he tangled with then MotorSport teammate Tor Graves. While Tristan Cliff coming up into the track, he's about to put a lap on Jeffrey Hoodless in the Masters class in his venerable March 813. Absolutely immaculate machinery there for Jeffrey. Wonderful to see some of the slightly older Formula 3 cars coming out onto the grid in the F3 Cup. Toby Sowry also powers his way past. Get a good illustration there of just how much Formula 3 technology has evolved, but it remains, always has done, the finishing score. The Motorsport is a challenge from Mark Harrison, who goes past Henry Chart. Henry's race really going from bad to worse, almost into the clutches of Lee Morgan as well. Henry looking to fight back though, as he and Harrison turn through Graham Hill Bend. Henry Chart getting a slightly better exit, might give him the chance, almost gives him the chance to challenge into Surtees. Right around the left-hander then, Surtees, they accelerate onto the Grand Prix loop. Pilgrim's Drop is next. Harrison plonks the car in the middle of the road, looking to the outside. Henry Chart, he's going to make it stick at Hawthorne. Oh, that's lovely from Henry Chart. And Harrison couldn't do any more. He took his one defensive manoeuvre, and Henry Chart found the momentum around the outside to reclaim the position. It means that Mark Harrison comes under immediate pressure then from Lee Morgan, the pair of them who've been running together really throughout the majority of proceedings. You can see as Harrison goes on the defensive, Henry Chart suddenly builds up the buffer. That's going to not be the work of a moment for Mark Harrison to close down. Lee Morgan, the fluorescent helmet, the white and blue car, draws alongside Harrison, coming through Clark Curve, and that's really nice run from Lee Morgan to get the nice tight exit out of Clearways. It gives him the inside line along the Bradman Straight, and more importantly, allows him to complete that passing manoeuvre well before he gets on the brakes for Paddock Hill Bend. So it's now the turn of Lee Morgan to set off in pursuit of Henry Chart, and Mark Harrison, in the space of about 2/3 of a lap, losing 2 positions. He drops from 5th to 7th. Now the recovery drive begins. But this is what we have seen time and time again in Formula 3 racing. It's because the cars are so evenly matched, because relatively speaking, they're actually not as quick in a straight line as the grip that they've got available to them suggests that they ought to be. It means that if you lose momentum through a turn, it can take a long time to get it back. Through Hawthorn they come, on towards Westfield. Also, because of that, the driving technique for these Formula 3 cars is paramount, being so smooth. And that's really been the case going back to the era in which Geoffrey Hoodless's car was contemporary. He's always taught drivers how to set up machinery perfectly. It's always been really the proving ground for young drivers looking to move up through the motorsport ladder, and that's certainly the case in the F3 Cup. We've seen Toby Sowery this year, just how dominant he has been. That's what he will go on to do in 2015. Lee Morgan puts the lap on Geoffrey Hoodless. More importantly for him, he puts a couple of seconds between himself and Mark Harrison. Down through Paddock Hill Bend, and just picking up the throttle, Lee Morgan en route towards Druids. Meanwhile, Jonathan Weston-Taylor making good progress in 9th place and second in the trophy class for Jonathan in his, again, 2001 vintage Lara. Here's our 3rd place man. I've not seen much of him, Louis Hamilton-Smith. Absolutely flying, driving very smoothly, Louis. Often goes well on the Silverstone National Circuit, and that is coming up as the next event for the F3 Cup, so we'll look forward to seeing Louis Hamilton-Smith's progress there. Here's Henry Chance, who has well and truly broken clear of the battle for between Lee Morgan and Mark Harrison. Harrison coming back again at Lee Morgan. They're beginning to run out of time, moving towards the latter stages of this race. So towards the latter stage of the season, we've got just 4 races to come on the Silverstone National Circuit, and then where it all started on the Snetterton 300. This weekend for the F3 Cup competitors racing at the Lotus Festival in front of a nice crowd, and continuing really, I guess, to demonstrate the appropriateness of single-seaters running at a Lotus event. Of course, Lotus is well known for their single-seater cars, as they were before their road cars. While Tristan Cliff scything through the traffic, jinxed the inside of Nick Robinson. And this has been an absolutely imperious performance from Tristan Cliff, because he has opened up an advantage of something like 12 seconds over Toby Sowery. Robinson, meanwhile, in 11th place, has just slipped back a little bit from Jacopo Sebastiani, but at the same time, Robinson's got a very comfortable advantage over Geoffrey Hoodless. Tristan Cliff accelerates out of Surtees. There is Cliff's Omicron teammate, Jacopo Sebastiani, and it's Sebastiani who is the next target for Tristan Cliff as Cliff heads on towards the checkered flag. Down through Westfield and up into Sheen, a corner that requires so much commitment because it's completely blind entry. You're turning for Sheen well before you can see it. It's where track knowledge becomes absolutely paramount. Why, for somebody like Tristan Cliff, who's raced in Formula 3 cars around the Brands Hatch Grand Prix circuit for several seasons, why he really flies here, because you're doing very well to be running in front of the first event in any given car on the Brands Hatch Grand Prix loop. As Tristan Cliff accelerates over the line now into his final lap. And Cliff, who's waited all season for a victory, now looks like he's going to get 2 in the same weekend. Around the hairpin of Druids, downhill, with an eye towards the championship, though it is a little bit of a case of too little too late, you would suspect, to overhaul Toby Sowery, but with 4 races to go, anything can happen. All it takes is a little bit of bad luck, something going wrong in qualifying at Silverstone, and suddenly the title fight becomes wide open. Cliff out of Hawthorn on towards Westfield, racing between the trees, and the camera angle slightly deceptive. The track, when you're in the cockpit, feels an awful lot narrower than it looks on television. Particularly climbing up towards Sheen and on then to the left-hander at Stirling. It's on Stirling now for Tristan Cliff. He has driven absolutely superbly all weekend. He's going to put on Geoffrey Hoodless just before the checkered flag. Doesn't break his concentration though through clearways. So Tristan Cliff accelerating along the Ramsden Straight and through to do the double in the F3 Cup on the Brands Hatch Grand Prix circuit. The Lotus Festival weekend victory for Tristan Cliff. He waves to the marshals and the crowd on the bank in Paddock Hill Bend. Second place going the way of Toby Sowry. Louis Hamilton-Smith completed the race podium with fourth for Oliver Ray, and he, the trophy class winner. So look at the results then. Victory for Cliff from Sowry and Hamilton-Smith. Oliver Ray wins the trophy class from Jonathan Weston-Taylor. An excellent ninth for Jonathan. Jeffrey Hoodless was the Masters class winner, finishing in 12th. So our class winners on the podium here. David Willey from OCR doing the honours, dispensing the champagne and the handshakes, and delight for our double winner, Tristan Cliff.
I stalled. Simple as that. Yeah, it cut out, and before I even reached the starter button, it burst back into life again. Well, I did the same move on Henry, and he didn't cover me for some reason. You'd think you'd have seen it coming from yesterday. And then Toby was really struggling for pace by then, by the time I got up with him, which was what, lap 3 or 4. And he seemed to let me go, and then I scampered off. So I'm not quite as worn out as I was yesterday, which is good.
Super work, well done. All your friends have gone, so you're not going to play with champagne. Well, that's a nice one to have with dinner.
Yesterday I had to chase Toby down the pit lane to try and spray him, just in case it was the one time of the year I get to. But today...
Go and do it again then.
I'll hunt him down like a lion.
So you should.
Tristan Cliff, a bit of a demon in dousing people with the champagne, but it's been a super weekend for him. It means that he is solidly second in the standings behind Toby Sowry. Oliver Ray climbs to third and leads the trophy class from Lee Morgan, and then Louis Hamilton-Smith fourth and fifth respectively. Well, that's it for Brands Hatch, but join us same time next week with all the action from the Silverstone National Circuit.